Okay, I'm going to try and get through these quickly. We've got BDI, Bina Minerals. What does the chart say? It says it's come from $1 down to 1 cent, it looks like. Not very exciting. Needs to make a higher low yet. Hasn't made a higher low. It looks like it's just sitting on the, and it's under 1 cent, or around the 1 cent level. So if you think it's worth $1, buy everything in sight. But nobody else is buying. When there is interest shown on these high volume represents activity of the professional money. They're weak bars. Smart money selling up bars. And so when you have high volume and an up bar, especially if it's closing off the middle, they're all potentially weak. It could be absorbing supply from the left. You get trap buyers over here just getting out, but they're all, any ultra high volume bars, any ultra high volume up bars are potentially weak. And this is confirmed by price going down the next bar. If that was all buying, then it couldn't close off its middle and it couldn't close lower, so that's weak. You'll see it here. This must have been an announcement. Yeah, all this lot of volume kick up here. It's an up bar, but it closes well off the high. The next bar closes lower, and she was all cooked from there. So you've got a lot of weakness behind you still. That's a weak bar. You've got these up thrusts, which are particularly weak. So you really need to see a higher high and a higher low for short term to indicate that there might be some accumulation going on, or that they're wanting to take it higher. I might just connect these pivots here, just see if I can connect a couple of lines here. What's that? Maybe this one. So that might be stretching it a bit, but maybe when it gets a bit over here, we'll see if it does something. But at the moment, it's just looking weak. Even the weekly is looking weak. And these weak bars, high volume bars, will resist you at the 1.1, the bottom there at 1.1, 1.2. It's pretty much going to resist you all the way up unless you get some, need to start working it with some higher lows and higher highs. Okay, this is MOL, Molly Mines. I'll just put a couple of lines in there. I'll probably should look at what can we do. I might connect those two bottoms and see if we can get a little bit of a channel. No, not really. Maybe if I connect high there, or what am I doing? Make those two highs. So I suppose at least it's got away from those. Still got one there. There's a few there, but that's not so much what I'm looking at. You do have another one potentially to look at, which is take it from that's actually broken that and resisting against that, so that's not too good. We could possibly do, that's not much better, that makes it even worse, doesn't it? So, well, it's got a lot of weakness behind it. You can see where they've been distributing up the top. You see all this high volume up the top, and it's gapping and doing all that sort of thing. That's typical distribution. Those gapping down and gapping it up, and they'll do that. They'll support the price and try and gap it up to suck in your breakout traders and everything to take it up to, so they can finish, take it up to their target sell orders until they're done. And once they're done, it just collapsed on itself. Tried to hold. Once it collapsed below there, then it started getting weak. So you got to remember, smart money, when they distribute, they have to distribute on an up bar. That's the only way they can make money. if you've got large amounts of stock or a large holding, you can only buy it, you can only distribute on an up bar, otherwise the price gets away from you. So we see examples here. Here's an up bar, it's an up thrust, closing low. So if that was buying, then how could it close low? So that's ultra high volume. Next bar closes low and it goes down pretty rapidly after that. Again, an up bar, closing off its side. It's looking promising. Could be they're trying to absorb volume from over here, but the next bar closes down and it's all over after that. Any high volume up bar, you want to see it tested just to show that they're willing to absorb supply. If they've absorbed supply in that area, they'll often bring it back to mop it up, retest that bar for supply. And when you see really light volume in these high volume bars after that, and it's staying within the bar, that indicates they're mopping up the supply in that area. But once it falls below there, then it's all over. They were selling it. It's come down, and we see it have another one here. They've sold into it again, close low. It's all over now. And these levels will become your resistance levels. They'll resist the price later on there. That's where you're getting your supply from at the moment, the close of that bar there. So now we have volume again coming up into that area, or even into the close of that. And you can put them all the way up here on the closes, on the lows. So the 80, 81 cents, 75 cents. So anyway, here we have high volume up. So that's higher volume than before, so high volume, but it achieves a result. You get a little move up. The next bar closes high again, so there must be some buying in that bar. So what we're looking at then is for that bar to support, and we're looking for light volume coming back on that bar. One thing that is positive is that they seem to be holding the price above the gap. So if that gap doesn't fill quickly, that suggests that they're trying to convince any sellers in this area who are locked into bad trades. They're trying to convince them to hang on to their shares. They don't want them selling their shares. They want people buying this move up. Maybe the high volume up comes down. There's a little test into that area, closes in the middle. It's on high volume, so there's still plenty of supply. They won't want to take this up until they've absorbed supply. Really light volume down bars tell them that supply is really low and they can take it up. So it goes down, it's supported, but the volume is higher than the bar behind it. Goes up again on volume, but the spreads are narrow, so they're selling in it, but they're pushes up into the resistance again, and it drops off to find supply in that area. This time the volume is very low, so it's come back into our volume bar over here. You'll notice this down move here, it's finishing off the low, and you'll notice this down bar, it's on low volume. You see this last down bar? There's lower volume on this bar than there is on this bar. I don't like that it's closed too far. I would prefer this to close a bit higher, but it's good that the volume in this bar is lighter than the volume in this bar, because that tells you there's less supply in that area. Well, look, maybe they were back testing this little line from up here as well. So look, it's trying to form a higher low there. You don't have any. What I really like to see is some climactic action like these high volume up bars. We want to see high volume down bars and then price going up. The smart money sell the up bars and they buy the down bars. And we do have like absolutely no selling in this down bars down here. You have this one where it's the down, but it's really compressed. So that's full of buying in there. And the next bar is really low, light volume. So the selling is dried up in that area. Really not a lot of selling there. And then the price has a response. So that could be a start, possibly be the start of some accumulation. But look, it's going to have. You want to see higher low. It's going to have to do higher highs and higher lows to work its way through this volume, because all these trap buyers are going to oppose the price. But it's starting to. So there's possibly a bit of strength coming in there. But really, I prefer to see these bars, high volume bars at the bottom, but at the moment that's showing a bit of strength, so that might just be that it's trying to hold up temporarily, I don't know, but it is starting to show a little bit of strength and trying to form a higher low there. And they're supporting the gap, so that's positive. I still probably wouldn't buy that until well, that's your really, you can see these down bars and the volume kicking in as it goes down, but the spreads are narrowing. So it looks like they were actually trying to buy and turn this around. Started accumulating in this area here until all the selling dried up. So that's actually looking, I might have a look at the weekly and we'll just see what we can see. We need to make a higher low on the weekly, I think, to be really certain. It's come down a lot, volume gone up. Look, it's gone up on more bullish volume, increased volume. Yeah, really, I think you want to, you're still in a downtrend, but it's showing sign, possibly at least want to get away from that downtrending line there. But really, I think you want to see a higher low confirmed on your weekly chart, and you don't have that yet. So that would be the safe thing to watch out for. So you got volume coming in. If this can close into the bar, if this week can close, it can close lower, but if it closes closer to the high, that would be better. If it closes on really light volume higher, then that would indicate no demand. So, but yeah, anyway, we want a higher low on our weekly chart, and I can probably connect these lines now to something to look at, or even, and there's a few pivot points here you can connect. I'd probably want to see it make a pivot above that trend line there. If we can reclaim that, that would be good, because you've got plenty of strength, plenty of weakness behind you, but you don't have a lot of strength. All these weak up bars, these are all weak bars, selling bars. You haven't, there's been no evidence of any climactic action there on the daily. It looks like they're doing something with it, but I want to see a higher low on the weekly chart. Okay, this is QBE, and I suppose we need to put in maybe a little trend channel there, trend line there, or even at least even there. So we are still trending down, even though we have started a little, well no, well we have started a little, it's gone sideways a bit, isn't it? What can we look at? Probably connect those there. So it's it's broken down from there. So, the other thing we can look at is maybe connecting those there. That might be the line we need to look at as well. Look, it's still, one thing I don't like is it looks like the pivots are expanding, and that's usually a sign of instability. But what I'll do is I'll have a look here for the highest volume bar on the map, which is this bar. They've taken it right up here, and then they've begun distributing it back down. So there are your levels there, which you're just poking your head above the bottom of that bar, and that's that you need to get into there. One positive, this down bar here that's closing off, it's a narrow spread down bar, so that looks like a little bit of bag holding there. So there's your potential. Oh, but you have support there, so it's not really bag holding if you got support just right behind it there. But still, it's a buying bar that there's buying in it. That's what it's down, but it's closed off its high. It's fairly narrow, so it's tried to support there, and then it's quickly bounced back up. You've got a down bar here again. less selling closing off its high, and it's rocketed. They've bought it all up under here, it looks like. So that's would be a background strong bar. I'll get rid of these other lines. That's your background strong. That's your strong bar. That's your strength. All this section down here is showing strength and buying. That's taken this up. So it's gone up on no demand. That's no demand. When you see an up bar, a narrow spread on low volume, it tells you the professional money aren't interested. And the next bar up thrust and down she comes, but she's, and even when they're buying it, even when they're buying it, it breaks out like that, they'll always bring it back, or most of the time they'll bring it back to try and mop up the supply in this area, because the opposition to higher prices is short-term sellers selling it at a higher price, and they don't want that. So this is a test. It's the lowest volume in 3 bars, testing down into this high volume bar. Price responds by closing higher and slightly less volume, so that's bullish, and then up she goes. But it's you will get resistance now from lock holders from here, but it's looks like it's now formed a higher low. You'll notice this down bar here. You notice the volume at this low, which corresponds to this low here now, is less. It's come back in over here to test. We've got volume here, it's gone up. Now it's come back down into that area to test for supply, and the volume's a bit less. So and it's gone up. So that's good. Good. You're getting resistance from. I'll just try and work out some resistance levels here. Oh well, you've got them there. You've got resistance there from the left. I've already marked off. So it's come up through there. It's weakness coming in because it's closed off its middle, it's dropped back down, but closed back up again in the next bar. Very little selling in that down bar, and it's responded positively. So that looks, a line I would be looking at would possibly be that one. You have let's have a look here. So let's see if we can make a higher high. We'll have a look at the weekly. This is QBE, I thought I said. Yep, QBE Insurance. The weekly, there's your bullish down bar. Smart money buying down bars. The price goes up to confirm, and it's trying to make a higher low on the weekly. So we really want to see a proper higher low form on the weekly. And that'll give us something to let's see, this down bar here has stopped this down move in its track and shifted the price sideways. So it could be that needs to go sideways a bit to absorb supply before going up. So oh look, there, they bought it there as well. See, I didn't notice that before. There we go. They bought it there, it's gone sideways. And when it's come down to that 1642, they bought it again. So that's looking okay. But it still looks like it's still going sideways at the moment. So there is signs of strength at the bottom here. You've got signs, see these pivots when it comes to the when it's come back. Well, see at this pivot there's buying coming in, but there's also a lot of supply, so that's why it's had to come back. Now it's come back into this area. The supply is getting less. So look, we need to make a higher low and then see where it tests back into this volume from a higher low on the weekly. But at the moment it looks like it's going sideways. So but it is starting to show some sign. Just look at it. Looks like it is supporting at the 1632 there. So we'll just have to see how that goes. I might put a pitchfork in just to get us a. No. So it's broken sideways out of, that's your logical multi-pivot line. You're getting touches there. Breaking sideways, you will have a trigger line there, which it's resisted against, or just missed. yeah, so it's going sideways at the moment, so that's, I think, all we can conclude. But yeah, there are strong bars at the bottom here. At this bottom, there's definite buying interest there. So they might be still accumulating it. Okay, this is MAD, Maverick Drilling. It looks like she made some significant moves from, we got 16 cents here. Okay, let's have a look. So we had this distribution area up here. We had an up bar, high volume. Let's move those other ones out of the way. High volume up bar. The volume persists, but it closes off the low, and that gives you a clue that they're distributing in that bar. Comes back, pushes up, but they're actually just holding it up there to distribute. That's what's happening there. It's trying to go up then after that through this area on lower volume. And that's just making sure their sell orders are getting filled up in this area. They've done it again. Smart money selling up bars, and this is the first one. They're taking it up. It'll be on some news, and it's got enough demand to take it higher. It's taken it right up to their target sell level, and then it's collapsed after that. That's now what's resisting price, is that high volume there. You had this really high volume closing on its right on its low. You got all this high volume coming up, so that's your bullish volume right there, and that's supported. And you get this really high volume up bar, it's closed on the low, so it's full of selling. That could be they're absorbing trapped holders here. What I like about this is that top has held. See, they're holding it up here, holding it up, and it looks like they're trying to absorb the supply, and you can see the volume getting less and less. Then we get this really test right down into this volume, closing on high, and it closes higher, and volume pushes through. So that looks like absorption volume. They're absorbing supply in this area. Now it could be they just want to gap it up and distribute again in this area, so we've got to be careful. We've got to be careful now when we see volume coming in like this, because we don't know what their intention is. But if it gaps over this bar and then comes back and supports like it did here, that would be positive. So anyway, your support's at 23, the resistance there at 26, and you've got the danger zone here up to 29 cents is your danger zone, because that's where they're distributing not that long ago, and you will get you will have heaps of trap buyers here who will just jump ship. So get supply from there. Or worst case scenario is that they'll have their target sell orders up here again. So I'm not saying that's the case, but I like that it's had this little period here. So that's a bull flag there. It's giving you this nice bull flag. That looks like, see, that's a test into that volume. And we get another test into that volume. It's gone lower, but the volume's slightly higher, going up. Now this might have to come back and retest again, because you are catching supply now, so they may take it back and retest. Let's try to push through here on less and less volumes. So that's you don't want to be seeing less and less volume as it's trying to go up, because that makes even that volume still quite high, but it sort of counts as a no demand bar because it's the lightest volume in 3 and 4 bars. It is still quite high though, but I think this might have to come back and retest. So if we can retest back into this volume, we like to see volume tested. They don't always give it to you, but so if we can make her might have to see some really light volume down bars closing high, especially if they're really narrow spread down bars coming into this volume area here, then that would be very bullish. So I might probably be even looking at that line there. Is worth watching as well. Any really light volume down bars around on that line would possibly give you some nice entries if you get it, and it might just shoot up too. You don't know, but that's I probably wouldn't buy that myself while all the volume's on. I'd prefer for it to come back and test. I prefer to be buying. See, there's a really nice light volume down test. It fails because the price doesn't rise higher next, but it sort of does go higher. The weekly might give us a better idea as well. Well, there's your volume up and supported. There's your distribution, but it's come back on light volume. Oh, there we go. There's a nice test. Closing down into this volume bar here, right on the tip of it. Lightest volume in 3 bars, so where there was previous high volume selling, there's now very little selling. The next bar has responded positively with increased volume, not excessive, but an increase in volume. Well, it is a fair amount, confirming that that test on the weekly was successful. So this is actually starting to look bullish now on the weekly, so we'll just have to see where this goes. So just be wary that you are in an area where they had their target sell orders previously, so that's just what you've got to watch for. But at the moment, that's looking quite bullish actually on the weekly. So we'll see how this week closes out. Yeah, no, no, I think you're all right at the moment. But I think your good entries will be fantastic entries. If you get them, you don't always get the perfect entry. It will be a really light volume. So like one of these down on there would be with one of these behind it would be really, really nice. But no, that's looking okay for the time being.